Yeah, that's the next matter we're sinking our teeth into. It's been 5 years now since Dr. Adadevoh passed on. Just about a week ago, she would have been 63. Right. And on that day, lots of Nigerians gathered in a church to mark her 63rd birthday and also add their voices to the call that Dr. Adadevoh be given a national honor. And just yesterday, the House of Representatives echoed the calls being made by some Nigerians that Dr. Adadevoh be given a national honor. We have with us this morning Honorable Kayode Akiolu, who moved the motion for that call. You're welcome to Sunrise Daily.
Thank you very much, Omar Kwagwe. It's a pleasure to be here.
Now, I was wondering, why now? Why is the House of Representatives moving that motion now for the honor of Dr. Adadevoh?
To be honest with you, I think it's long overdue for this great woman to be honored by our country. However, there was a similar motion that was moved, but I think no serious action was being taken. But the night assembly is it is an assembly that is serious. Like we have a focus. Our focus is to ensure we take Nigeria to the next height, which under the leadership of Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, all the members of House of Rep, we are on the joint task force team to ensure that everything is put in place. So I think it is the right time now, which was what made me, with some of my colleagues, we came together that such a woman that actually saved Nigeria from a very devastating effect that would have occurred if she hadn't taken her actions by restraining the Liberian man, Mr. Sonia, from leaving Mr. Patrick Sonia from leaving the hospital. So I think, well, it's long overdue, but this is the right time. Somebody must speak up on behalf of this woman.
Okay. So is it just her you're asking for honors for, or are you asking for other health workers as well?
I would say it's for her and the medical team, because it was a joint action that was that was put in place to restrain this man. But you know, she's the principal actor. You understand? She was the one that led. She's the physician. You know, the man was diagnosed for malaria initially, but due to her experience, she was like, no, let's go for that check, which was when she then instructed the other medical team that we need to put this man down. So it is for her and other members of our medical team that lost their lives.
Mm. How was it received on the House of Representatives? We saw some of your colleagues weighing in on the matter. They seem to be very passionate about the matter as well. Did you have any reservations from any members of the House of Representatives?
I will tell you something. Any right-thinking Nigerian, not just the members, will know the action of Adadevoh is worth emulating. So bringing the motion to the floor of the House, I knew my colleagues would definitely take it up, because it is one issue that's been in the mind of every Nigerian, that such a woman should be put in the list of honor, should also be put whereby it will be taught in school, which is why part of my prayer was also, I want the civic curriculum to be taught in all schools, that there once lived a woman, Dr. Stella Adadevoh, that laid her life. Remember, she paid the supreme price. Imagine what would have happened in a city like Lagos, highly populated, to let such a man go. And also, he was also going to Cross River State for an international conference where we have people from various walks of life coming in there. Only God knows what would have happened there. But for the action of this woman and her team.
So how do you think this will be received? I mean, because this call now has been on for a while. Some people will say, shouldn't it have followed naturally, that Nigeria by now would have recognized the efforts that she made and would have given her the honor that is due? Why has it taken so long? Why do you think that your call now will make a difference?
I think my call now will make a great difference, because it is high time we Nigerians value our people. I mean, this issue happened 5 years ago. She was honored by the ECOWAS community, but the best place to get honor is from your home state. When I mean your home state, it's from your people, which is your country. So I think even President Muhammadu Buhari, remember late Chief MKO Abiola was honored also. Why? Why was this? He also paid the supreme price for the democracy we enjoy today. So I think same thing, same principle applies for Dr. Stella Adadevoh, that prevented what would have been a devastating effect on us in this country. So definitely, I think it must be received well by all, because if you look at everybody on the floor of the House, they spoke in support, overwhelmingly support. My motion was to honor, but another colleague in the House immediately amended the motion and said, not just honor this woman, not just put her in the place of history, let's look for an institution and name after her, immortalize her for generations to come. So I think definitely everybody wants such a woman, because not because of her, it's also to lay a precedent for the upcoming and the generation unborn, that there is a way you can live your life and you'll be honored by your people. Adadevoh is one.
Why has it taken so long, though? I mean, when you look at, this should go without saying. I mean, this should be something that we should have recognized. If ECOWAS has already recognized her, why has it taken us so? Are we just nonchalant about things like that?
No, I won't say we are nonchalant about things like that, you see, because I am a lawyer. The National Honors Act, I think it's only for the military men that we're giving post-humor. However, I think with President Muhammadu Buhari, after doing 1 or 2 consultations and all, when late MKO Abiola was also honored posthumous, so I think same principle should go for Dr. Stella Adadevoh. There was a bit of legal issue initially, but now that President Muhammadu Buhari has set a precedent on that, I think that will now make it easier for the call for Dr. Stella Adadevoh to be honored and immortalized. Do
you think that we would need to amend our National Honors Act? Because if that is the case, I mean, first there was a controversy. You just talked about legal controversy on posthumous awards. However, do you think that there should be certain criteria that we should list in the National Honors Act? Because before now, some people will say that the National Honors Act has been abused, you know, by the plethora of people we see being honored. Then it was a yearly affair. But I think since President Muhammadu Buhari came in, there's only been one honor given, and that was to, you know, late MK Abiola and Chief Gani Fawemi. Since that, we've not seen any national honor being given. Do you think that we should amend it in such a way that people who are deserving, we state very clearly the kinds of people we think will be deserving of our national honors?
National honor naturally is to be given to men and women of honor who have paid, I would say, who have actually served the nation meritoriously in various fields, but also there are meant to be various amendments which will come with time. Because, for example, late MKO Abiola was honored posthumous. I think the same applies for late Chief Gani Fawemi. But under President Muhammadu Buhari, I think for now it's just those two. Probably, just as you said, President Muhammadu Buhari administration is looking into that. We don't want them to abuse the use of the national honor. It shouldn't just be for anybody that feels, I should be honored. It should be for people that the nation thinks they have paid their dues and they should be rewarded. So definitely, I intend to make an amendment to the Act that would also provide for post-humor, not only on military men, but on other people in other fields that have labored hard.
It's a bill you intend to move?
It is a bill I intend to bring... Sponsor, please. Yes, please.
Okay, so moving forward now that the House has moved the motion, how does it proceed? Because oftentimes we hear that a motion, a resolution, is just a resolution. It's just an advice. It doesn't do anything.
You know, it is an advice which will be followed up by the House, keenly. Because an amendment was also moved in the floor of the House, because if you look at it, what's it called? I'm trying to remember the name. Authentication Act. That's what gives the clerk of the House a particular period before the motion or the bill is being transmitted to the President for action. So I think with that motion being passed, that there's a particular duration of period it must use. Because, you know, obviously we have volumes of all these things being passed, and before it gets to the President. But to reduce the bureaucracy in the middle, such things needs to be enacted, you understand, so that it will receive fast, urgent attention. So with this motion being passed by the House overwhelmingly, I believe the executive would act fast.
Do you also have the concurrence of the Senate on this? Or is it just a move by the House of Representatives?
It is a move by the House, but already I believe, because there was some interviews whereby most of the senators interviewed also concurred with the House of Representative, and I believe when tabled on the floor of the Senate, it will receive the same urgent attention as it received in the Green Chamber.
Okay. Are you looking specifically at any particular honor that she should be given?
Well, if I have my way personally, I want her to be given the highest national honor on the floor of the House.
Why is that?
Because this woman, if you look at her actions, against all pressure put on her by the foreign the diplomats, there was a particular statement she made to the Liberian ambassador that called her and threatened to sue her and everything, that you are holding down a diplomat who has international immunity. And she said, sir, it is for the greater public good. What does that mean? It is for the interest of all of us. So, fine. The late Patrick Sawyer was also backed by law, not to be held down. But because at times you put the law aside for the principle behind it. Like in the case of Riggs and Palmer, when the United States court held that a boy that killed his father would not be allowed to inherit his father's property, even though the will said, it is my son to inherit my property. But you killed your father. Riggs and Palmer. So United States, there is the principle and there is a law. In this case, the principle overrides the law. So I believe same applies for the case of late Dr. Stella Adadevoh.
And that's why you want the highest national honor?
Honor, definitely.
Would you still feel fulfilled if she doesn't get, assuming, I mean, we hope that, you know, the president will be listening and those involved will be listening as well. If she doesn't get the highest national honor, would you still feel fulfilled?
Well, it will be a very painful thing, not just for me, but for every Nigerian if she's not honored. But I feel fulfilled that at least when I was in the Green Chamber, I brought up my view for such people, for such person and a team to be honored. I'll feel relieved. If I don't want to use the word fulfilled, I'll feel relieved. At least when I was in the Green Chamber, in my own time, I was able to bring up this.
Mm. Okay, well, let's quickly go to Lagos now for one or two questions.
Yes, Honorable. Well, many people have commended what you have done, you know, raising this issue on the floor of the House. But I'm just wondering, is there a way that this proposition that you have made, this movement, this thing that you have done, is there a way it can be institutionalized such that it just happens automatically? Many people have also talked about Dr. Dora Akonyele, who literally fought the fake drugs market in Nigeria to a standstill. And of course, we're talking about Dr. Adadevoh now, and a number of other people who have done tremendous things for Nigeria, and to a large extent, many people don't even know about them. So is there any way that you think that this movement, this motion that you have moved, can be automated such that there is no need to move it, that it should just happen automatically? Is there a way that it can be institutionalized?
Thank you very much. I believe there's a way that this can be done is by making an amendment in the Act, in the Honors Act, that there are certain situations, there are certain heroic acts that should not even come to anywhere, to any organization, to any agency or any arm of the government, because fact speaks for itself. So automatically, I would believe the amendment should come in the Honors Act, that it will be stated categorically that such an action should be honored directly. Like I said on the floor of the House yesterday, that in America, if an American militiaman dies in the battlefield, his family, for example, is classified as a Gold Star family. A similar act can also be brought into the Nigerian legislative system, which I also intend to bring in due time.
So going forward now, you have already said some other thing that you have in mind, but then you also mentioned a colleague of yours in the House who proposed that it should be also included in the curriculum to be taught in schools. If that is approved by the House and, of course, it becomes a law and all of that, how do you see that kind of thing being executed?
Well, sorry, just to correct you there, it was not a colleague. It was part of my prayer also. It was part of my prayer in my motion that this should be taught in schools and all, it can be implemented because it will be backed by law, and anything backed by law must be followed.
Just quickly, as we wrap up, I know that you did say that your colleague, amended the motion for a building to be named after her. But just quickly, I want you to also intervene. I know that Lagos Island is your constituency, and you saw the fires that happened there yesterday. I don't know if you monitored the event of the fires that happened on Lagos Island Market. Do you want to say a word quickly or two about it?
Well, the fire happened. Well, Lagos Island as a whole is my constituency, but the particular area falls under constituency 1, but I represent constituency 2. But as a whole, I was born and brought up there. The fire incident is a very sad one. It's painful. My regrets to the traders and the people that lost their properties and valid things over there. I believe the Lagos State government actually, I know they have some state laws and all with regards to building plans and everything like that. So I believe maybe with this incident, it is time to move in and implement such laws and all. But you see, the problem, I'm an indigenous Lagosian, the problem we have is when you want to, say you want to bring in a new kind of building plan, or you want to do something different, because of the emotional attachment we indigenous people have to our homeland, the government tends to receive some kind of resistance and all, and so we need a change of orientation for our people and let them understand that there are some situations that will be beyond people's control when we have an incident like that. So the best thing is just to cooperate with the government to ensure we all live in a better and a safer environment.
Is this something you intend to champion from both at the federal and at the local level?
Definitely, with time, because I will need to look into the cause of the fire and also meet with the people of the physical planning on the best way out to prevent such from happening.
Okay. Well, we have to thank you this morning for coming on Sunrise Daily. Thank you for moving that motion on the floor of the House of Representatives as well. We hope that the calls by Nigerians that this great woman be honored is eventually listened to and something is done about it in the soonest time possible. Honorable Kayode Akiolu, thank you for coming on Sunrise Daily.
Thank you very much, Omar Kwebe. It's a pleasure being here.
Well, that's where we leave it for Sunrise Daily at this time. Yes, we'll come back and take your comments. Did you think I was about to say we're closing? Well, we're about to, but not without your comments and your contributions. In just a moment, please stay with us.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at some of your reaction now about some of the matters we did discuss today. Let's start with this one from Anyekwe, who says, talking about honor for late Dr. Adadevoh. The labors of our heroes past often become in vain. We shouldn't be debating this Dr. Adadevoh honor by now. Even, he says, that of Professor Humphrey Mosu.
Many people don't even remember him, though.
Yeah.
Our definition of poor pay is different from the rest of the world. Criminals would always dangle a better carrot before the judge. So increasing their pay is never a solution to stopping corrupt judges. It's purely a character thing.
This one is from Olagunju Oladele, talking about judicial reforms. He quotes Hugh Sinclair saying, "It's difficult to get a man to understand something when his salary depends upon his not understanding it. The judicial system needs to be independent from external influence and should have its own independent enforcement bodies."
Mr. Mohammed, speaking about Operation Positive Identification, how do we identify our citizens by just presenting ID? He thinks it's a joke. Anyone can obtain an ID, he says. The solution should be to have a database of nationals that all agencies can access with a functional internet.
And Eichmann says, please, who investigates the EFCC? Are there no corrupt officers there? Of course, they're not angels. Please let the DSS investigate the EFCC after theirs. So are you saying that after the EFCC has investigated the DSS should investigate the EFCC? Well, I don't know. Gentlemen, I think that's the last one.
Okay. Well, there you go. Well, thank you all for your comments and your thoughts. We'll see you tomorrow. I'm Chamberlain Uso.
I am Ayo Makinde. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm Maokbe Ogun Yusuf.